Okay, guys, this is Robert Weichelt, EXP. I'm out of San Diego. I just celebrated my 3rd year with EXP this last Monday, and I couldn't be more pumped. My business, I've been in the business since 1986. So I've sold a few properties. I've seen a few things, but I tell you what, I've never seen anything like what we have available to us at EXP. Not only, I mean, EXP by itself is just a phenomenal company to be with, but the products, the listing tools, primarily the listing tools that we have available that nobody else has is what I want to talk about today. But before I do that, let's open it up. Let's start with some wins. What kind of wins? Share your wins today, guys. Get your video screen on and let's have some fun.
Hey,
Go
Robert,
ahead, open it up.
Robert, it's Howard in Huntington Beach, and
Hey, Howard.
had a big Homeboss last weekend. Got another one coming up this weekend, and absolutely the best thing that ever happened.
I remember when we met, Howard, you came out to my open house. We had a line around the block.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to see you. What other wins do you have, guys? Let's share some wins.
Well, I'll jump in on the Homeboss bandwagon. I just closed a Homeboss listing, and can I say how much over the?
Sure, please do. Please share.
This house closed for $94,000 over the original list price. Using the Homeboss system, we had what was it, Robert? 33 offers on this.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So it works. It's amazing. It'll blow your mind.
And I think the biggest thing, guys, is we're taking listings that we normally wouldn't be able to take. You certainly can't take a listing for 2% and have a real good business model there, right? So the question that I would have for you, and we're going to go over this in a second, but what would you say if a seller came to you and said, you know what, Robert, I want a discount. I want to list my home for less than what normal is. You know, that friend or family that comes over, knows you're in real estate and says, will you do it for free? Because we're family, we're buddies. What do you say to that seller that wants a discount? What do you say? We're going to talk about that in a second. Any other wins we'd like to share? Go ahead, guys. Come on, Wild Lily Handy. I know you got tons of wins. You always got wins.
I do. I did close a transaction this week down in the Rio Grande Valley. So I work 2 different markets. San Antonio and the Rio Grande Valley is my old stomping ground. So yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Any other wins, guys? Let's share those. Any new agents jumping on your team? Any new listings to talk about? Any closings? Let's chat.
Robert,
my 90th agent. That's great.
I'm going to share
that.
What I said earlier. Lanny Wilkinson joined my team. He's a brand new agent, and he came up with this amazing idea. And with my resources, we were able to put this together. And I'm going to be a little bit vague about what's going on because it is a niche. And there is a lot of it available. So we're going to have to turn the spigot on to control it so we're not overwhelmed real quickly. But on this one particular deal, there's around $160,000 profit plus the $51,000 listing price on it. And because of this, we're actually helping somebody save their basically they couldn't have gotten the house, so we're helping them get the house, and as a result they referred their neighbors, so we have another listing coming from that also on top of it. So we consider that a win, especially since he's a brand new realtor.
You know what, Eric, that is awesome, man. I tell you,
I haven't even figured out how to get on MLS yet.
Say that one more time, Lanny.
I haven't even figured out how to get on MLS yet.
I can't wait till you get started, my friend. We're going to get you in the MLS quite a bit.
I have
what
a
other
win.
wins do you have?
I have a win. It's a win that is in my a lady that came in under another lady under me, and she came in saying, I'm not going to attract agents. She is on fire right now, and she's already brought 2 on in the last couple of weeks, and she's bringing another one on, and she is working the systems. She's awesome, and it's been a joy just to watch her go from I'm not going to do this to wow, I'm really going to do this. So that was super cool.
Joanna, that's awesome. And I got to be honest with you guys. I come from the traditional real estate business, owned a Remax, was in management in Keller Williams, and just an independent for most of my career. And when I first came over with EXP, I had that same attitude. I wanted to just go out and do a bunch of real estate, that recruiting, leave that to somebody else. It's amazing how your mindset changes when you meet the Pat Hayeses, the Bob Mangolds, and all those folks that are having such great success. I have agents that come to me all the time saying, I just want to produce. I don't want to be a recruiter. I got news for you. That is awesome when they turn that corner, because it is such an amazing way. It's not recruiting. Bob Mangold, who's on this call, he calls it you're hiring. You're introducing an opportunity for agents to go to the next level in their business. And when that light bulb goes off, it gives you goosebumps, doesn't it, Joanna?
It does. And she got on board, as did my other one, from the napkin presentation. Blew them away. And that's where they started getting excited.
You know what? It's all about just making the introduction. You know, it's just an amazing opportunity. I want to bring on my mentor and the creator of the Homeboss online offers system, Bob Mangold. Actually, looks like Bob's younger brother is on today.
I know.
I love it. Hey, Bob, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
You know what? We're fantastic. We're getting everybody fired up on Freedom Friday. We've got just under 70 folks jumping on. We mentioned that we just a few weeks ago, you were on introducing the Homeboss online offers platform and the features and benefits. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to dive in and go into functionality. We're going to go into who you're prospecting, what you're saying to those prospects, how it works, how to do the open house, how to really shake those trees to get as many offers. Like Greg mentioned, he had 24, 25 offers. I mean, it's amazing. Jerry Stapp on our team last week had 51 offers and drove it over $200,000 above the seller's goal price. So that it's amazing. We've got amazing success.
916 people at that open house.
Say that number again.
916.
Are you kidding me?
No, so now we have a new record on top of it. 884 was you look like child's play at 586 now.
Yeah, I had the record for a long time at 586. And then just these last few weeks, a couple of agents just smoked by me like I was paint drying. 900 plus. I just need a show of hands real quick. Who's ever had 900 people through the doors? Who's had more than 100? Does that make sense? It's not a lot of people, but can you imagine the amount of traffic? Because remember this, guys, more traffic equals more buyers, which equals more offers. That's the simple math here.
Which also means more sellers, right? Because one of the things that we teach in this whole process to our group is 1 into 5. So like basically we have shortened it to 1 to 5, 1 into 5. How do we take one listing and turn it into 5 deals? Now that could be 5 buyers, that could be 5 listings, that could be 3 and 2. It doesn't matter, right? So if you wanted to close 100 deals a year and you can get to the point where you're skilled enough and your team does the right things where you can turn them into 5 more transactions, you need 20 listings a year. That's a lot more doable than 100, right?
Bob, remember the time you came out? We had a successful open house to the point where one of the sellers came by, not to see the home, just to meet the listing agent, me, to find out who in the heck is creating this much traffic for a property. He goes, because that's who I'm listing with. I took Bob on that listing appointment. It was the easiest listing I've ever taken. He goes, where do I sign? I'm like, do I want to give him my presentation? He goes, no, where do I sign? I'm ready to go. Well, poor Bob, he wasted his time. We didn't get to do a presentation, but it was
that was all good though.
Bob.
We got signatures, man. It's all it counts.
Yeah, but it was, my point is, when they see the line of people, they literally, the neighborhood stands across the street and looks over and goes, what is going on over there? So with that said, Bob, would you like to add anything before we get started?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share where to get the leads first. And I use My Plus leads. And I tell you, everyone says, well, I use RedX, or I use this. That's fine. I use My Plus leads for FSBOs, expireds, and canceleds. There was 34 just the other day on March 1st, 34. On January 1st, there's like 129. So there's a lot of opportunities. You can certainly go to Zillow.com, and I'll share my screen and show that. But if you go to buy, and then the drop down, I'll show for sale by owner. There's 89, I believe 89. Let's see, I double checked it this morning. There's, no, excuse me, 59. I guess I didn't have my glasses on. 59 opportunities, FSBO opportunities, just in Zillow. So I'm going
I've
to,
noticed in our market, it's increasing now too, right? It used to be like 5 a week. And I want to say this week there was like 31 or 32 FSBOs and a lot more expired cancels.
and you know what? A lot of agents are thinking, gosh, you know, I don't want to target the for sale by owners. They're mean. I don't want to target the expireds or cancels. Everybody's doing it. Nobody, just about nobody in your market is doing it this way. As long as you have a unique selling proposition that it stands you apart away from the other crowd. As soon as you drop that proverbial wall that sellers have and you get a chance to explain what it is, how you can help them, you see the light bulb go off. And I do all my listings, about 99% of my listings, all done on Zoom. I don't meet the seller. I don't see the property. We do the Zoom call and we get them interested. I go over the listing contract. They get it electronically signed right on the spot. So we're using technology to take as many listings as possible. Now we'll certainly want to do a home inspection, you know, do our agent visual and all that. But I'm going to show you a way to be as systematic as possible. Use the technology that you have available. Does that make sense? So with that said, I'm going to share my screen. And here's who we go. Here's how we get the business first. Let me close this out. Let's get this out. You're seeing my working screen. Here's where I go first. I go to My Plus Leads. I don't want to sign up. I want to log in. Log in. Remember me. Here we go. Let me show you this. This is just a fantastic system. Like, look at this right here. Remember I was telling you on March 1st, 31 opportunities. And that's what they are, opportunities to get in front of them. Now, what we do is we have the date that it was processed. It's a for sale by owner. Greg, this is up in Temecula. There's the name of Mr. or contact 1, contact 2, the sales price, the bedroom bath, phone numbers, emails, everything. If it's expired, you've got the MLS number, right? So there's a great way to prospect, but look how many of these we have. So I would write that down, myplusleads.com. This is, in my opinion, I've tried them all. In my opinion, this is the best. You just go in, you can subscribe. It's like 58, 59 bucks a month. It's super cheap. And you go in there and you tell them your zip codes that you want to work or the area that you want to work in. It'll be specific to yours. Now, some of these are a little far from me. That's okay. That's okay. We're referring to agents that are out there, right? So my point in telling you this, you've got everything you need to prospect. Now, some of them, sure, they don't come with an email and you may only have one phone number. Sometimes it gives you everything, but this right here is a systematic way to go after the expireds, canceled, and for sale by owners. Now, not every day are there FSBOs on here. There's 3 right now. And this is a great, great place to go. So that's My Plus Leads. Once you get the lead, I'll take this out of the screen, get out of there. You can go into Zillow. You can certainly go to Zillow. You go to buy, for sale by owner. And I've got 59 in San Diego County. Look at this right here. It tells you exactly where they are. And I'm going to bring this up here, down here. Okay. So what you do is you got 59 opportunities right here. And you can go in, pull up the information, see that it's a 40. Look at this guy right here. It tells you did a price cut. Maybe this seller's getting a little anxious on their sales price. Maybe they were a little ambitious to start with. Most sellers tell me when I ask them how they get their price, they say, well, my neighbor sold for, in this case right here, my neighbor sold for $675 last month. So with the market the way it is, I decided I'd come up a little bit higher. Sellers always want to start at the top and work their way down. That's really not.
Any of you guys notice 2-bedroom, 1 bath for 7 1/4? You guys
That's San Diego.
Yeah, welcome to San Diego. That's depressing.
But look at this. And when I jump on the Zoom call with sellers, I have this screen up and I have this screen up, and I'll go over that in a second. This is the first screen I have. So, hi, Mr. Seller. I'm calling you about your 2-bedroom, 1 bath. That's what I'm showing is the 2-bedroom, 1 bath? Yes. I'm showing you have 1,399 square feet. Is that correct? Yes, it is. So I'm showing that your goal price here is $725. Yes. How did you arrive at that price? And then I listen. If I'm interviewing the seller, I'm interviewing to see if their home qualifies for our platform. So if they say, well, you know what, my neighbor sold for $675, but I figured since the market's so hot, I would bring it up a little bit. A lot of them take a calculation of 10 to 15% above that so they can, because what are sellers taught to do? They're taught to start high and negotiate down, where buyers are taught to start low and negotiate up. What we do is we start 15% below market and drive the price up to and beyond that sales price. And I'll show you how in a minute. But everything you need to know is either in My Plus Leads, and then I would certainly go in and pull up the Zillow or the Zillow link. This one, you can see it's been 22 hours on the market and they already reduced it 25,000. Maybe they made a mistake. You just don't know. They've only got 155 views. And Bob, tell them about the views that you had on that one property in Bullhead or Buckeye.
So yeah, we average right now about 1,300 views a day and about 100 saves a day in Arizona. And so again, one of the cool parts is, hey, after like 3 or 4 days, you can go into Zillow, you can take a screenshot of, let's say, 2, 3 other listings in that neighborhood, relatively close to the same price, right? Take a screenshot of that, then take a screenshot of the number of views that you have and the saves that you have, and you email that to your seller, right? Because what happens is everybody forgets you have to keep selling the seller throughout, right? You have to let them know, right? You go into your listing presentation, talk about your whiz-bang marketing and all that other stuff. Man, they don't understand that. Start showing them proof, right? So you could take, let's say, 4 screenshots, and then each day take a screenshot of yours and send them for like the next 4 days, send them to the sellers and say, hey, great news. Our marketing's kicking butt. See, this is what's happening with the competition. This is what's happening with you. Now you look like a hero, right? 1 into 5.
Absolutely. So thanks for sharing. So here's what you have. You've got everything you need about the property. You can read more, and it gives you right here, gives you their direct cell phone number, shown by owner with appointments only. And they do not have an open house. So you know that, how are you going to drive all the buyers into your property with our methods? And I'll show you those in a second. So this gives you a ton of information, gives you photos of the home. Obviously, that's what Zillow, in my opinion, only thing Zillow is good for is for data. You can go in here and I'm looking, they've got a little barber shop in their home or a beauty salon. It's a cute little place, but it doesn't have a lot of photos. It doesn't tell a big story, but it tells you enough to have a conversation with that seller. When I get on the Zoom call, let me show you what we do here. Here's my script that I use when I'm speaking to somebody. Excuse me. What I'll do is I'll have this email in the background, not on the screen. When I'm meeting the seller, this is the screen. This is the script that I have in the background. So once we asked all the questions, we know what their home is. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,399 square feet, asking price $725. We understand how we got to that price. And what I like to do at that point is introduce my proprietary marketing program where we drive all the advertising, all the marketing, all the exposure for their home. We control when their home is shown. We have no lockbox, means no random showings. We do a 2-day open house. This email was for a landlord that only wanted us to do a 1-day because it was tenant occupied. But I changed this to 2-day right here. So I can totally change this to customize for the seller. Some sellers that have tenant occupied properties, it's perfect for them. So it's not an inconvenience for their tenant. So if you have any landlords looking to sell, make sure you understand the convenience factor of our system. We do a 2-day by appointment only. What that means, every single buyer has been vetted, proof of funds, pre-approval. We know exactly who's going in this home. If they are not accompanied by an agent, one of our agents will accompany them into the home. We negotiate on their behalf through our online transparent offers platform, handle the entire transaction, get them top dollar, sell it in 14 days or less. And they only paid 3% total commission. Now, let me back up just for a second and tell you how we got here. My script is very systematic. It's very simple. When I go to My Plus Leads, I will call first, and the sellers never answer their phone. I'm so surprised how they even have the ability to sell their home when they don't answer their phone. I'll call them first, because every now and then they will, but not often. Then when I leave a voicemail, hi, my name is Robert. I'm calling about your property at 123 Main Street. Would you please call me back? I would love to know if it's available. That's it. Then I hang up, and then I text that number as soon as I hang up, and I say, hi, my name is Robert, calling about your property at 123 Main Street. Is it still available? That's it. Then when I get a response back with a no, it's not available, I'll reply, did you sell the home? Did you take it off the market? Do you plan on putting it back on the market? Because I want to know, a lot of times, if it's a canceled or expired, technically it is not on the market to them because they're in the process of re-interviewing agents. If they say no and you go, okay, thanks a lot, you missed out on a huge opportunity. Are you going to put it back on the market? Yes, we're interviewing agents. Bingo. I would love to be in that conversation. Does that make sense? Most of these sellers come back and say yes. I say, great. If I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, are you willing to pay the standard 3% buyer's fee? Now let's just go over what I just said. Great. If I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, that's a rhetorical question. A price that was acceptable to you, would you be willing to pay the standard? They don't necessarily know what the standard is, so we're guiding them to where we would like them to be. The standard 3% buyer's fee. I don't say commission for a reason. Most for sale by owners I've ever met, the only reason why they're for sale by owner, because they don't want to pay a commission. They don't want to pay a commission. I even get choked up on saying the word commission. My point is, they don't want to say a commission, so I say a buyer's fee. Every single seller I've ever talked to always has in their head an idea of what they are willing to pay a buyer agent should they bring a buyer. So what I'm doing is, if I was to bring you an offer at a price was acceptable, are you willing to pay the standard 3% buyer's fee? Sometimes they'll say yes. Sometimes they'll say, I don't want to pay a dime to any agent. There's no wrong answer. But I do have a question for you. What if the seller says, you know what, Robert, I'm not paying any commissions at all whatsoever, not happening. Don't even try to convince me. Not happening. What would you say? Could you take that listing still? More times than not, the answer is no. Your only conversation with that seller would be trying to convince them to pay a commission because you're a great agent or because you've got an amazing 89-point marketing plan, or you're gonna whatever, but there's just no way that you're gonna have without having the commission conversation. We have this platform that can help you with that right here. Bob, did you want to say anything about that script at all?
No. I mean,
okay, good. I just want to make sure I'm not leaving anything out.
The reason that we don't ever want to use the word commissions, folks, what's the number one thing that a seller, that a FSBO doesn't want to pay?
Yep.
A commission. So don't use the words. Remember, you've heard me say, words, the words we use matter. That matters.
Yes. So recap. Hi, this is Robert calling about your property at 123 Main Street. Is it still available? They say, yes, it is. I say, great. If I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, are you willing to pay the standard 3% buyer's fee? They come back and say, you know what, Robert? I've talked to some friends that are agents and the neighbors and whoever. I'm thinking 2% is what we're going to offer if you were to bring an offer that was acceptable. Fantastic. When can we get on a quick Zoom call so I can find out more about your property? 8 times out of 10, I get them on a Zoom call because in my opinion, this presentation is a visual one. You can tell an agent what you're going to do for them, but when you show them, that is when where the magic happens. So let me show you how my Zoom call goes. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I'm calling about your property at 1615 St. Louis Ray. Is that the correct address? It is. I'm getting a lot of yeses, okay? I already know the answers to this, so I know they're gonna say yes. I've got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, correct? And sometimes they'll say, well, if it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's really a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, I'm just validating the information because Zillow likes to round up. 1399 square feet, correct? Yes. I show that you're asking 725. Is that the price you're looking for right now? Yes. I noticed you reduced it 25,000. What caused that? And I just listen. Then I'll say, so tell me, how did you come to that 725 price? Then I'll listen. Then I go into my script, which is on a different screen. I talk about my proprietary marketing program. And remember, if they said they're willing to pay 2%, this has been updated. So when I meet with them, you'll see right here, it's 2%. I make this email before I get on the phone with the seller. Because remember, we're texting in the beginning, and then I'll call them to actually schedule the Zoom meeting. Make sense? So I'll change this to 2%. Then, obviously, this is the success timeline. I'll do a 14-day marketing agreement, which is the listing agreement. And I only need to do it for 14 days because this is how long the process takes. The reason why I do that is because 9 times out of 10, sellers do not want a long-term contract. We've all been told and taught to do a 6-month listing agreement. I can tell you when you go to that seller and say, I can do this in 14 days or less. If I don't get you your price, you can fire me. You owe me nothing. I can truly stand by that guarantee. If we don't get your home sold to your price in 14 days, you owe us nothing, and we're on down the road. I get so many listings just from people saying, oh my God, everybody wants to do a 6-month contract. I don't want to stay in contract with somebody for 6 months. I said, if I needed 6 months to sell your home's way overpriced. It's got to be substantially overpriced. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, how many times have you not sold a house either?
You know what? I would say of the 100 I've done, I've probably sold 98 of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say it happens very rarely, folks. I honestly, I don't even know when it happens. That's how rarely it happens. So you don't have to freak out about it because what Robert just said is 100% right. The consumer's so trained and realtors are so trained to say, hey, 6-month listing, it's like 14 days. You're kidding. And so that's why we do it that way, because the truth is we're going to sell the house. We don't care. Now, if the market changes, will we make an adjustment and do 30 days? Probably.
Yeah, right now we don't need it. So what we do is we'll list it for 14 days. What that covers is the day we take the listing, and you can see the sample I have here. I like to have at least minimum 10 days of marketing time. So I do the 14-day agreement, right? I put the listing agreement together. We put it in the MLS. We goes on the online offers platform. Let's say it's Thursday, January 6th. 10 days later, minimum 10 days. 14's preferred, 10 days minimum. Open house. Now this seller that I was showing you example only wanted on a Sunday because it was tenant occupied for my sample purposes. But 10 days later, we'll do an open house on Sunday the 16th from 10 to 3. That's the only window they would give us. Now, remember, the best way to do it is Saturday and Sunday. Now, watch this example that I'm using, Sunday the 16th from 10 to 3. Every single buyer that registers, it is by appointment only using Calendly. And then we're moving on some systems that are going to be much better than Calendly, so stay tuned. the Sunday open house line around the block. Offers are due that very next Wednesday. What that does, that creates buyer urgency. Number one, you've got a line around the block, all fully vetted, pre-approval, proof of funds. Then you have your offers due, and we're driving all those buyers to our website where all the online offers are placed, and I'll show you in a second. And then we get the seller in escrow that very next day. We negotiate with the buyer, make sure all the terms are cleaned up on the contract. Boom, we open up and go under contract the very next day. That is a 14-day marketing agreement. What I do once the seller agrees to a contract, it's usually 30 days, sometimes 45. I stipulated in the listing addendum that says the seller agrees to extend the listing agreement to match that of the escrow accepted or the contract accepted. For example, it's a 30-day escrow. I have them go out 35 days to give a 5-day pad. 45 days, I extend it 50, but I write it at the initial listing appointment because I want to make sure they know they're only on the hook for 14 days. However, if I get them a successful contract, they're going to extend it to match that contract. Does that make sense? That's how you do it, because in this market, if you can't sell it in 14 days anyway, your marketing is probably terrible, because this market is phenomenal. Now, what I do is when I'm on the phone with a seller on the Zoom call, I'll have samples of previous success stories right here. And now what we want to do is, if you have a $500,000 listing, don't show $1 million examples. If you have a $1 million listing appointment, don't show $500,000 sample. Just don't do it. I did one the other day. He was 2.5 and I showed him 1.9, 1.7, 1.5. He's all, those homes are substantially less than mine. And technically he was right, but not that far off. The system itself, I could have showed him a mobile home for that matter. The system itself works, but that's what sellers think. They think, oh, it works for those guys, but not me. So make sure when you're using examples, use examples that match that of the seller. Just like to point that out.
Robert, let me add this in, because this is something that I do, and each of us does it a little different, folks, but I created something called the DUST, D-U-S-T formula, right? So when I talk to a seller, I just go, hey, there's 4 critical factors that every realtor, if their goal is to sell your house fast for the most amount of money and eliminate your hassle, then you have to contain these 4 factors. And so I use the acronym DUST. Number 1, they have to be able to create demand for your property. Now, that's not as hard in today's world as it might be, but demand is the first thing. Sense of urgency is the second, right? So how do we create sense of urgency? You can only get in to see it on Saturday and Sunday, and you have till Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. The next one is scarcity. We create scarcity by not putting a lockbox on the house. We don't show the house, right? So you'll get calls from agents, or we'll get calls from agents, and they'll whine, moan, and groan about it, but we're creating scarcity. The other part of that is we also want a big crowd on Saturday and Sunday, because that creates FOMO, which drives the price. And then finally, we create transparency on the offer. See, one of the downsides, the highest and best, nobody knows what anybody's offering. If they have the ability to see what everybody's offering, they have the ability to beat it right there. And so in order to take and list your home to get the maximum amount of money, you have to have those 4 factors in place in your marketing. Now, if I'm, I talked to this other agent, I just go, well, here's the thing I would recommend you do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Call Robert back and ask him how he's going to create demand, urgency, scarcity, and transparency. If they can't provide that, I can guarantee you my system of selling homes is 10 times more powerful than what they can.
That's huge.
And then be quiet.
Huge, very huge. And that's why we talk about right here, when we do the 14-day marketing plan, we list it on a Thursday, the 6th, for example. There will be no showings, like Bob mentioned, no showings until the open house. I received a listing one time, an expired, simply because it wasn't price, it wasn't commission, it was the hassle of selling their home. This seller owned a downtown condo. He had these beautiful Brazilian wood floors. I mean, they were beautiful. He had it listed with a traditional agent who had random showings, had a lockbox. You know, sure, you had to, you know, confirm it with the seller. But what the seller would do is he would buff his floors out before every showing. It took him like an hour. And the reason why I got that listing, because I explained the no hassle process. And that's, we did a 2-day showing. All we had to do is buff the floors on Friday, and we showed it Saturday and Sunday. And that was it. There was no random showings. The reason why he fired his agent, he spent an hour buffing his floors. The buyer didn't show up. He was so ticked. He said, you know what? This doesn't work for me. I'm not doing this. And that is when it expired. I called him and I explained our process, locked it in. We didn't even talk about price and commissions. It was the hassle. So to Bob's point, the ease of this program is huge. So we do the open house weekend. The offers are due that very next Wednesday at 7 p.m., creating that urgency. And then I give the samples. Now, this samples, I have all these samples right here that I'll share with my seller. And it depends. If it's a multi-million-dollar home, I'll take this guy out. Boom, that's gone. And then I have the slides and I walk them through our science of pricing. We price our properties 15% below market because it's been a proven fact that we get much more traffic into an open house than we would if you price it at market value. And I'll show you that in a second. But a lot of sellers are going, oh my God, 15% below. Oh my God, why would I ever do that? Now, we could certainly get away with pricing it a little less than that, but I just follow the system. I literally price it 15% below to the penny. And I give the seller an example. If it comes up, why would you price it that way? Well, I give them an example, but only if they ask. I explain to them we price it 15% below. That's how we're getting so much traffic to our open houses. We're driving tons of buyers, tons of interest. And like Bob mentioned, that FOMO sets in. Once they see a whole list of people down the road, they're certainly not going to get a full price or get it for that lower start price.
You know, one of the questions we get, folks, how much money do you spend to promote each listing? My answer is $60. I do a Facebook boosted post on KB Core. The pricing is the marketing. And that's important for you to understand. The number one thing for pricing is it's the marketing. So when you do 15% below, that's what drives the traffic.
Absolutely. And here's an example that I shared to them when they asked, which home would attract more buyers? That's your home, priced at 600, priced at 7, priced at 8. Which one would drive more buyers? And I don't say anything. I let the seller answer that. And they always answer property A, validating my point why we price it below that market value. Because here's the reason. Here's the strategies for pricing. You price it high, you're going to attract less buyers. That's a simple math question. You price it at market, you're going to attract more buyers. But when you price it below market, you're going to get maximum buyers in a bidding war. That's just a simple math question, guys. Well, where do you market it to? When we put it in the MLS, the IDX feed, it automatically goes out to every single website on the planet. All of our marketing, like Bob mentioned, are $60 for a Facebook boost with Facebook and KV Core. We do that on all of our properties. We also knock 100 doors around the listing and drive a bunch of sellers out of their home and have them come down to see what's happening. Because like Bob mentioned, that 1 in 5, you want to get those sellers there to see what's going on. Go ahead, Bob.
No, that was it. I was going to say that's another way of doing it. And then if you're smart, guys, after the open house, right? And let's say you only got 200 people there, right? So let's not go crazy, but only one person can get the listing, right? Now you get your buyer's agents who are sitting those open houses to go back into the neighborhood and said, hey, I don't know if you were around a couple weekends ago when we did that open house, but we got a record price for that house around the corner. But now we actually had hundreds of people in the houses and they're looking for a home in the neighborhood. Do you know any of your neighbors that have considered selling, or maybe you've even thought about it because now's the time to get the best price on the planet? If you do that, you're going to get listings.
Yep. We call it our yikes letter. After every open house, after every property goes under contract, just like what Bob said, We had 35 offers in this property, 34 of which did not get the home. And our system is that they're pre-approved and have proof of funds, and they're ready to buy, and they want to buy in your neighborhood. Like Bob said, we do that after every single listing, and we turn that one listing into our goal is to turn each listing into 5 future listings. So it's
We do 3 different things. We knock, we postcard, and we voicemail drop that neighborhood afterwards, right? Because 1 into 5.
Yep. And it's a fantastic way. Look at the traffic we're driving, and I'll show sellers. This is the kind of success we're having. We're gonna have people around the block. And then I say, remember, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when buyers compete, you, the seller, wins. And that's a simple process. Then I show them the roadmap. And then I go on to what we'll do is, does this sound like something you're interested in? And I'll know once we, you want to know what my close is? What weekend's the best for you for the open house? And when they answer that question, I know all I need to do is send them the contract. What weekend works best for you that your home will be in its best showing condition? How much time do you need? Oh, I can do it this weekend. I said, well, technically, I think the best way to do it is the weekend after, so we can get as much marketing success as we can. And that's my close. I mean, that's simple. And I say, great, I'll go ahead. I'll send you the contract in this email. I send them some testimonials from past clients just to, let them know that this is a success that's working for everyone. I'll send them the listing agreement. They review it. And then once they review it, they may have a question or two. I'll answer that question. Everything's good to go. Great. I send it out for electronic signatures. It's about a 15-20 minute meeting max. Most of it's just getting to know the home. Then the other is just real quick explaining the process. And then if you have any questions, let me know. It's just that simple. So, Bob, did I leave anything out on this in terms of talking to the seller about the process?
No. See what happens, folks. Everybody wants to complicate that process, and they want to make it more difficult because they really can't explain what they do to market the house. And, oh, I have to see what the house looks like before we can come up with a sales price. No, we don't. The market is going to drive the price. And so one of the questions, and we have slides ready in a presentation. Think about it, guys. Who actually determines the market value of a house? Is it the seller? Like, well, that's what I need to move where I'm going. So that's what I want, right? We've all heard that on the phone. Well, the buyer doesn't care. And then it's not my CMA just showing you what everybody else sold around the neighborhood for. And it's not an appraiser. The appraiser's job is to protect the bank. The only one who determines market value is the buyer. And if you doubt that, we are in a market over the last really 2 years that's 100% proof that will last a lifetime of how the market dictates the price. Our job using that dust formula is to create the demand, the urgency, the scarcity, and the transparency to drive the price up. And so at the end of the day, for us, we don't talk about price. Hey, it looks like it's worth around somewhere, let's say 7.25 in this example, but we would price it at whatever, call it 650. And the reason for it, we need to get as much of the market in as we possibly can to be able to take and drive the price. Now you may go, yeah, but now you may only get buyers in that can go up to like 650, 675, whatever it is. And you're 100% right. But guess what? Those are the people that start the whole offer process off. They come in, they shoot their best offers early on in the process. And then come Wednesday afternoon, you see the serious people come in and close it out. They all serve a purpose, right? They're actors in a play. Plus, when you pull up to an open house and you see a line around the block, you're going, oh, hell, honey, we ain't getting this for 650 or whatever we started the price at. So it all plays a role in there. We want those people in there because they're like actors in a play. And then they're the ones who get the ball rolling. They're going, hey, I don't think we could get it for, what we're approved up to, but let's throw it in, see what happens. And they're the ones who start the party off.
And I use the example, Bob, like look at extras in a movie. Those are just my extras in a movie. There's 100% of people that show up to that listing, to that open house. 80% of them may not like it because of price. They may not like it because of condition. They may not like it just for whatever reason. But the 20% that just have to have that home, talk about motivating those 20%, right? You've got 80% of these people that want the same thing they do. It's It is awesome. Let me show you an example.
You know, let me answer couple of these questions here. Do we put a sign in front of the house? Of course we do. Are you doing new pictures, house prep, any 360 videos? What I would tell you folks, if you're not doing professional photography in today's world, you're really making a big mistake. So we do all the typical marketing, if you will. And FSBOs are one thing. And if we have time, I'll talk about what we do with expireds and cancels real quick. But yeah, we do all the marketing. And in our listing presentation, we have examples of houses in the same neighborhood. I've got one in our presentation that one house around the corner, they took a picture of the backyard that was all, you know, grass didn't grow, a basketball, you know, net in there and whatever. It was the same house as my son's listing. They sold for $310. We sold for like $375. So we use that in a listing presentation to say, hey, hiring the right agent makes a difference. But if you're taking, you know, pictures with your cell phone and your finger over the, you know, the lens, like we see that all the time. It's like those are rookies. And we use that to point out to the sellers that, yeah, we don't play this. We're pros at what we do here.
Or you're in the mirror, the bathroom mirror, seen that one?
Oh,
Many
that one
times.
too. Yeah.
Let me show you an example of a success story. I've got tons of them, but I typically like to share this story because it really was a good story. This was a for sale by owner. She was listed in Zillow for $675. I called her up. Hi, this is Robert with EXP calling about your property at 5928 Riley Street. Is it still available? She goes, yes, it is. I said, great. If I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, are you willing to pay the standard 3% buyer's fee? She goes, well, you know what, Robert, I appreciate you calling, but, you know, after talking to everybody, I'm willing to pay 2%. Fantastic. When can we schedule a quick Zoom call to go over your property? She was so focused on that 675. That was the only thing that she could think of. So I, obviously ran the comps and she was spot on. She was spot on. 675 is where I would have, if she didn't tell me, that's the number I would have told her. So we agreed there. But I asked her, I said, Sheila, her name was Sheila, if I was to get you more than 675, would you be okay with that? What does any seller say? Of course she's okay, but she actually got, what are you trying to be, a funny guy? It's only worth 675. I'm like, our system allows us to get more for the seller, and I always like to make sure it's okay. I wanted that to sink in that she could potentially get more having used this system. We used this system. We literally, you can see the house right here. We had a line. We opened up the garage and had folks go in the garage and out the front door because it's a 3-story townhome. So we had people lined up in the garage and up the street, up like literally way up the street. We almost had to get traffic control. It was so amazing. This was the first open house that we could do after not being able to do open houses. When we got that whole no more open houses because of the COVID thing. And this is the first open house we could do. So people are really anxious to get going. What we did is we created so much buzz. We got 17 pre-approved buyers. My buyer team did from this one open house, 17 pre-approved buyers. That's huge. So if you're growing your team and you want to grow your rev share, this is a phenomenal opportunity. And we can go over that another time. I want to tell you the story of Sheila. We started this property 15% below her 675 goal. We started at 595. We got Tammy, and now why Tammy outbid herself, I still to this day don't know, but it didn't matter because Kevin came in right after her and nullified her bid anyway, her offer. So then Lou came in and placed his offer. Then this guy, then the next one. Oh, there comes Tammy. And then we have ourselves some offers coming in. Oh, look at this. We're at 675.
And guys, notice how Tammy dropped out. Tammy was that lower price buyer that we're talking about, that they get the party started. The most she could go in this case, obviously, was 635.
Well,
and you'll see
watch
she's
this
gone now, right?
Let me show you a little bit of story about Tammy. Tammy at first was yes, she backed out, but then came to watch. I'll show you what happened. Look at this, 675. My seller calls me up, Robert, we're at 675. Let's go to escrow. Let's go under contract. I said, Sheila, We still have 2 hours left for offers to come in, and I feel very strong that we're going to get more offers. You want to hang tight? She goes, okay. I said, I knew she loved Chardonnay. So I said, go grab a Chardonnay. And she put it up on her big screen and she started watching it on her big screen. She kept sending me photos. She kept sending me videos. She's like, oh my God, this is great. She got 675. Whoop, there comes 680. The phone rings again at Sheila. I said, Sheila, just give me some time. We'll get you some, watch this, just watch. As you can see, Kevin comes in. Oh, Kevin got outbid. Kevin comes back. Then Amar. Oh, guess what? Looks like Tammy wants to join the party again. And then Amar. And then look at this guy. We've got a 3-buyer bidding war going on. Remember, she wanted 675. Oh, there comes Tammy again. And look at this, guys. And what's funny is Tammy wanted that house bad. That's why she placed her. Now, most bidders, like Bob was saying, most buyers, they kind of put their maximum. They come in early and get the party started. And I encourage everybody to get started right away. But most of the action doesn't happen until the last day. Look at this. These are all in the last day. We've got a couple stragglers in the beginning. And these are the ones that know that they can't really qualify for much more than what it is. But all the heavy lifting was done on the last day. And then boom, this seller got $105,000 more than she was just hell-bent on knowing that her home was worth. Do you think she was excited? This seller is the one that only wanted to pay 2%. She got her 780. Guess who paid the difference? Now, I'm certainly not going to take a 2% listing. If any of you know me well enough, I am not a discount broker, never have been, never will, ever, 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 never, ever. The buyer paid the 4% difference. Because at the end of the day, guys, who pays the commissions in a real estate transaction? The buyer does. So many people say the seller. Yes, with the buyer's money when they write their offer. Let me explain. This is the seller's net because that's what sellers care about. The commissions being fully transparent. There's the 4%. We've now called it agent compensation, but this was over the summer when we called it buyer premium, but it's still the same thing. For a total purchase price of $811,200, buyers only care about one thing, the final sales price. Sellers only care about one thing when it comes to price, and that's their net after commissions. She already agreed to pay 2. We made up the difference of 4. The buyer's purchase price is here. The process is ended. Now the seller and buyer must agree. The seller accepts the winning bid, then the entire process proceeds like a traditional real estate transaction. The buyer will submit a signed contract with the seller's final sales price, being the highest bid offer plus the buyer premium, in this case, agent compensation. Then the seller will open up escrow with all contingencies outlined in the contract. So my point is, she wanted 675. We got her $105,000 more because of our transparent online offers process. Had she taken 675 the normal traditional way, she'd have missed out on $105,000 extra. Everybody wins here. I gave the listing or the buyer agent 3% in the MLS. She literally had the nerve to call me the next day after she got accepted and says, Robert, I just don't understand. Why in the world would you offer 3% in this market when everybody else is doing 2.5? Like she was really upset with me. I said, I can certainly call escrow and have them give you less. My point is, the reason why I like 3% is I get so many more agents to my open house. Here's how agents show properties. They look at the properties, they go 2%, 2%, 1.5%, 3%. Ooh, I just found that perfect home for you guys. My point is, it's super great. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, you know what? I'm licensed in California, and I would tell you, looking at the buyer compensation now, we're much closer to 1.5 in California to the buyer's agent than we are to 2 as an average, right? So when an agent can collect 3% compensation, they're ecstatic. And so because of time, I know I've seen questions, how do you explain this to consumers? Here's the cool part, folks. If you're going to Cabo, I'm around a bar, a pool, or somewhere. So is Robert. We might hang out one night and just kind of go through this stuff. So if you're going to Cabo, you just come with a cranberry vodka in hand. It's all inclusive, so you don't even have to buy it. And we're going to walk through like how we explain all that stuff. It's another reason why you go to these events, folks. You get to hang out with people and see all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all disclosed. Don't worry about it. We have a system in there. And the truth is, when an agent comes in to try and be obnoxious about, oh, this, I'm not paying that. When we explain it to them, they go, oh, that's great. Then when you're paying them 3% versus 1.5%, come on, if you're an agent in California, tell me you're not a lot more likely to get your buyer to one of our listings. So there's a whole series of science and methodology behind what I created. And for those of you that have heard my story, all this came to me while I was laying in the hospital when I fell off the roof. So everything that you see today that we've been running now, almost, it'll be coming up on 4 years. All of this that my group has been running for 4 years, all came to me in the hospital, laying in the bed. So there was something good that came from that, right?
There you are right there, buddy.
Yep. That was about 2 months after trying to do physical therapy, or maybe 6 weeks after. Right. So at the end of the day, that's where all that came, because here's a question we all have to answer as realtors. How are you competing with iBuyers? Okay. Number one, how are you competing with discounters? How are you competing with big team agents that are advertising all over the place? How do you, as just little old, individual agent, how are you competing? And so this is where it all came from. Is the process considered an auction? We don't use that language, Melanie, but technically, yes, it is. What would happen if the bid had not reached 675? The seller has the right to accept, reject, or negotiate any and all offers. What would you do if the property didn't come in value? You're going to do the same thing that you do, ordinarily, folks. You're going to negotiate it. I'll be honest with you, in today's market, people are bringing in the cash. Will it always be that way? Absolutely not. It'll be no different than any other transaction. You'll just have to negotiate it and figure it out.
That's why I like proof of funds, Bob.
Pardon?
That's why I like the proof of funds. Know they have the ability to pay the difference.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the benefit of today's market. I had somebody in a Facebook post, not that long ago ask, well, aren't you getting all that traffic because of the market? Absolutely. But we were doing this before the market turned like this. And in Phoenix, we were getting 250, 300 people into an open house. And Robert was doing this before that. We were getting 400 and 500 people. That's why we laugh about it now. His record was 586 people. That was like 3 years ago, before all this crazy happened. Yeah, it's all on the website that we use to do that. So, somebody asked, how do you use this system? This is a system I created. If you want, I put the link in there. You can apply at homebossapplication.com. I need to see, do we have too many people in an area? What kind of volume, is it the right agent? If you are, then we'll talk. I'll send you a video of how it all works. I'm going to send you a licensing agreement so you know what's done with this, because we have to stay compliant. This is all approved at EXP, and all the brokers and corporate and all this stuff have approved how we do it, the language we do. So I can't have people vary from it like one iota, because it's been through the ringer through legal and compliance and everything, right? And then I want to make sure it's a right fit to work with us. So if you're interested, go to homebossapplication.com and we'll go from there.
And Bob, one thing I want to add before everybody jumps off and has an amazing Friday, an amazing weekend, is we have our team suite and we do coaching hours. Once you become a member, we have free coaching. We go over things, all things Homeboss, what's working, what's not working, systems, tools, everything from A to Z. We sit down and coach you and train you and mentor you on this system. It's been a game changer for me. And I feel like I'm a little kid at Christmas, man. Every time I take a listing, I just know I'm going to get it. It's having that confidence when I go and talk to a seller is a really cool thing to have. So when you go in there knowing that you've got something that's much better than anyone's going to offer them, you know that there's no way you're going to lose a listing. You go to that listing appointment just a little bit more pep in your step. Instead of going, oh, I hope I get the listing. I just go, I hope the seller qualifies for my listing. I'm qualifying them. That's the way I go to these appointments. I want to make sure it qualifies for me to take. So I just want to make sure that you know that we're here for you. So, Bob, is there anything else we'd like to add before
You
we
know, I think Lawrence asked about the live offers. One of the things that the other strategy that we have, folks, we have a cash offer platform. And yes, EXP has express offers, but they have like, you know, in Arizona, we have four vendors that will buy properties. So we have hedge funds, right? It's just something that I put together, and I'm a partner in a company on it, that at the end of the day, they'll buy your house at the appraised market value. You can stay up to a year. If the house goes up in value over the year that you stay in the house, you get the difference, right? Well, why is that important for what we do? So we talked about FSBO today. Now think about canceled and expireds. If I sent you a text message, because I don't call, we don't call. And so at the end of the day, we send you a thing. Hey, I noticed your home had expired. If I could get you a cash offer at the appraised market value, would you be open to consider that offer? What do you think they all say, folks? Now, at the end of the day, the offers from an investor, the commission or the fees anyway, could be anywhere from 7 to 12%. So now when they go, it's 12%, like, oh, I like the price, but I don't want to pay that. Well, we go, well, if I could get you actually probably a higher price than that, and you only paid 3%, is that something you'd be open to? So now we got FSBOs, canceled, expireds, all covered. And so I know in the interest of time, I just wanted to explain this. If you guys are in Cabo, don't hesitate to come up and chat with us about it. And we, you know, I know we've had a bunch of people reach out. We might just pick a night and hang out at the bar and just kind of talk through and answer all these questions. If you're not going to Cabo, I would tell you next time go to Cabo, because you never know who you're gonna run into and how that can help. So with that, how can I watch? They post a recording of this, Khalid. I'm not quite sure where, but they do post a recording.
Yeah, I recorded it, and I'll be sending it to Ian to clean.
Yeah, see, this is why I love Jamie. Yeah, we're gonna chat and talk on that yacht because we're going out on a yacht. Hey, Jamie, is that Wednesday or Thursday? Do you know? We're going out on a yacht one of those days, and Jamie will be on there Thursday. So Thursday, well, you guys are all working. We're going to be out on the yacht, and we'll be chatting about this stuff, right? So at the end of the day, that's, you know, it's another reason you go to these things, folks. You just start reaching out and talking to people. You never know what you're going to hear or find out, right?
Hey,
Well, if you
Bob,
need somebody to carry your suitcase, Bob, on that yacht, you let me know.
Yeah, I'm traveling light, baby.
Go ahead,
Bob,
Eric.
could you post that link in the chat for us?
What's that?
Would you post your link in the chat for us?
I did.
Okay,
Here, it's easy. Homebossapplication.com.
thank you.
So I tried to use an easy name for it. How's that? And I think I sent that out to everyone. So let me post it in here real quick so you do it. But we made it easy so you can remember. So, all right. Anything else, folks? Robert, anything else you want me to cover?
No, you know what I tell you? I think for agent attraction purposes, because I know a lot of this call is on agent attraction. I tell you what, you get 40, 50 agents coming to you, and you get I look at everybody that comes to my open house with their buyer as a mini lunch and learn, a chance for me to explain this amazing platform to this buyer that is like pretty sick and tired of being a buyer agent. How would you like to take more listings? You know, go ahead and check out the home. Here's how the system works. I would certainly love to talk offline with you and show you how we're helping our agents transition from buyer agent to listing agent.
So here's how I do that, folks. And this is what I taught Kathy Ryan. She was on a couple of weeks ago. She's the one who had 884 people at her open house. 165 realtors came in the door. So she has a little flyer. And basically what you're doing, you get to filter the agents, right? See, you guys are all trying to figure out how to go out and talk to agents yourself. We have them coming to us. And so what we do is if the agent comes in and they're obnoxious, we don't say anything to them. If the agent comes in and they go, holy hell, how do you do this? You go, oh, I'm sorry, Robert, I don't have time to talk to you, man. I'm teaching a class next Thursday at noon. If you're interested, let me give you a flyer real quick. You can go and register there. Or if you want, here, take a screenshot of this QR code, and it'll take you to the registration page, and we'll walk through how we do this and see if it might, you know, if that might be of interest to you, because I'm going to guess you don't do open houses like this, do you? And they're like, hell no, I wish. Now we send them to class where we teach them how this process works, run through EXP, and guess what? Then we have a little link that goes at the bottom, or a little button that pops up, and it goes, oh, schedule your call with Bob now. And they just schedule their calls with us. We're not running out chasing people.
Absolutely awesome. Cool. Any other questions, Bob, in the chat box at all?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, if there's any comments anyone would like to say before we say goodbye today, guys?
One quick question. If we are accepted at the Homeboss application, do y'all go into more depth about expired and canceled?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. We
And,
walk you through the
and-
whole process.
We have a whole training system behind that. And
Okay.
then we have a team suite, and every week after our meetings, you know, Robert spends it. The truth is Robert coaches the people. I don't even do it afterwards. And we just give you access to our team suite to go in there and chat with them too.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a good time. We have anywhere between 30, 40 agents there every Tuesday. You know, sharing what works, sharing what's, you know, success, what failures, you know, mishaps, objection handling, role playing, marketing, functionality. I mean, you name it, everything from start to finish. Thanks for being on, Lanny. What else, guys? Anything else before we say goodbye today? All right. Well, hey, we'll see those that are going to Cabo. We'll see you in Cabo. And Bob, thanks for jumping on. And, you know, it's always just a pleasure.
You know, we just have a blast doing this, guys. So people, oh, well, it's work. No, it's not. We just, Robert and I have a blast doing this.
Yes, sir.
So
Taking listings with confidence is a whole different feeling, guys.
whole
Cool.
different.
Well, hey, everybody, thanks Pat Hayes, Ian Flanagan, Bob Hayes, Bob Mangold for being on. All of you guys for participating. Thank you so much. Have an amazing Friday and a blessed weekend. See you guys later.
See you guys in Cabo for those of you coming.
See you in Cabo.
24 hours from now, I'll be getting on a plane. So see ya.
Bye, guys.